You could see his body was unanimated. It was almost like he'd taken a punch. It shows this is taking a huge toll on him, he said. He was almost losing emotional control. His voice started breaking when he spoke about his family and the effect it has had on them, but it also happened again when he started speaking about his future, long-term career, he said. Cricket Australia has banned Warner and former captain Steve Smith from international and domestic cricket for a year, while it has banned Cameron Bancroft, who applied sandpaper to the ball, for 9 months. Former Australian vice-captain David Warner during a press conference at the offices of Cricket and SW, Sydney. Photo, AAPMR Kelly came away from the conference with the sense that Warner was most concerned about himself and his future cricketing career. I think his greatest interest is his self-interest, he said. He said at least 3 times that he might not be able to play for Australia again, and it really hurt him. Warner copped a barrage of criticism for not answering questions about who else might have been involved or whether he had engaged in similar cheating behavior before. David Warner struggles to contain his emotions. Photo, AAP, I take full responsibility for my part in what happened, he said in another non-answer, before a journalist shouted, "You haven't answered the question." His wife, Candice, was sitting at the back of the room beside her PR manager Roxy Jachenko. Jachenko's arm was wrapped tightly around Candice's shoulders. Mr. Kelly said it was clear Warner had been coached to stonewall questions. David Warner and his family arrived in Sydney on Thursday night. Photo, AAP, he was coached to not go there, to say this statement if you don't want to answer it. But people will be disappointed that he didn't talk much about the other players, he said. Warner fails to appease fans. Viewers took to social media by their hundreds to express their outrage over Warner's deflection of legitimate questions. Video still showing Cameron Bancroft hiding the sandpaper. Sports reporter Bernie Cohen wrote on Twitter the conference was disgracefully handled. Whoever instructed him to avoid answering pertinent questions has only inflamed this issue. If it was legal advice, it was poor advice. Another commenter on Twitter said, same scripted answer to most questions, really lacking in any authenticity. Another said, we didn't need him to be articulate. We expected honesty, now we will continue to question. Who else was involved? How many times have they done this before? Was he the ringleader? Meanwhile, British television personality Piers Morgan posted on social media following the conference, saying, this may not be a popular opinion. Warner's cheating was appalling, but his remorse seems painfully sincere. We all are with you. We want to see the same David Warner that we know, strong and confident. You are the man. Later in the day, Warner took to Twitter to explain why he had dodged questions at the press conference. I know there are unanswered questions and lots of them. I completely understand. In time I will do my best to answer them all. But there is a formal Cricket Australia process to follow. He wrote, I am taking advice to make sure I properly comply with that process and answer all questions in the proper place and at the proper time.